Welcome to the Insane Reality of Midlife Health podcast, where we redefine midlife health from a real perspective. I'm a certified health coach and personal trainer, here to guide you through the challenges women face. You'll hear tips and stories from everyday women who have walked this path. Let's shift our focus from the past to embrace who we are now. Hello, welcome to the Insane Reality of Midlife Health. Today I have a good friend of mine, Miss Sherry. Nice to meet you again.
I know.
Nice to meet you.
Here we are in the yard.
Nice to see you. Yes, so as she has seen, we are still out here trying to enjoy the weather before it gets too cold. This is part of what we're doing is wellness, outside, enjoying nature, beauty, gardening, all the things. So that's the focus that we're trying to stay in. So you will see falling leaves and all kinds of wonderful, real natural props. All right, so first of all, just wanting you to know that bring out whatever you want to bring out. This will go where it wants to go, as it has with everyone. But first thing I will start off with is you get to have some fun questions. I hadn't started with anybody else yet. When you think of health, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Boom.
It's mental.
Mental? I love that answer.
It's changed. When I was younger, I would have said something physical. But now that I've matured, I would say mental.
I like that a lot. See, this is why I love doing this. So everybody has such different responses and answers depending on the time of life and also what you've been through.
Yeah.
And one, mental is, like you said, we're starting to let that become okay to say that is a part of health now. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Yep. And two, we don't let people's ages out on here, but everybody knows that we're trying to stay in the realm of 35 to 80, right? So, but the point of me saying that is, for most women, in what this show is about, midlife health, mental plays probably with the hierarchy of how all of our health is affected, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So when you were young and you said it would have been physical, why would it have been physical for you? What would that have been the answer?
Because that's how you feel everybody judges you, is by how you look instead of by how you feel. And then as you mature, you learn that people are more drawn to you by your personality and how you feel about yourself, how you feel about other people.
Yes.
And are you at peace with who you are? So
that's what that is. I started learning that in my early 30s, I think, when I was out and about, still in the scene. That's what walks in the room first. Is your confidence and your just how you're feeling in peace with yourself. But it's sad that we don't learn that earlier on.
I know.
But I love that you said that, because I'm hoping that will maybe let the younger viewers start addressing that in their life. So I love your answer. So what has your relationship been? We can break this up. You can say, for this next question, you can tell me like how it started and where it's at.
Okay. Or
you can address where it's at now.
Okay.
But what would you say your relationship is with exercise and eating healthy?
It's not at a good place. I think what happened is, your 30s, like you said, you were all into, I need to do this, I need to work out, and then for me, in my 40s, I got a new position. And all my focus went to making sure that position and my profession was at the forefront of everything that I did. And now that I've kind of grown in that, and I kind of have an understanding of how it runs and what I'm supposed to do with it, I've kind of shifted back to, I need to probably start looking physically at my health, because that makes you mentally better as well. Yeah. But yeah, I would say it struggles,
Would it be safe to say that you think as women we have to have like almost a identity crisis of choosing whether that is real right there. Real natural leaves falling.
I just had an idea.
I like that. Would you say it's safe to say that we have where I was always in the struggle of an identity crisis of where we should focus in, whether is it career, is it physical? We're being judged in all these areas. Like you said, you came into, I guess what you would say is your full-on career that you have achieved, you've worked for. And that was now what made you. So you had to make sure that was clean, that was confident, all the things, but it was hard to choose that and choose the physical. Yeah. But you know that you're going to be judged and addressed based off both.
Yes.
So, but you still have to make a decision, right? That's how you feel.
Yeah. And I think when I talked to you about this, that was one thing that I knew for myself that I needed to start doing, was really starting to look at the physical side of it. And I know, like, I have a long drive. And so then I get home and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do anything. I don't have the time. But you really do. I mean, I'm just making excuses.
It's funny, we are the creators of our own time and space. That's not God, but we are what we are given in life. We are the ones that actually created that. Mm-hmm. We created what every little minute of our day does. Now, some of it's by force, some of it's but we do. And just like we've created good habits, we create bad habits. And just like we create bad, we create good. We create all that. So I always try to encourage people when I'm always saying, well, it's not always about taking away the bad habits, because those are made just as easy as a good habit could be made. But I think that if we the goal here, obviously, is to balance the whole dimension of it all, right? Yes. There's 7-8 dimensions of our health. But at what point can we stop just focusing in on one, then focusing on the other? When does it all come together? Mm-hmm. You know, does it happen in our midlife, or does it get crazier in our midlife? Mm-hmm. That's what we're addressing. Not that any of us have the right answer, but I think we can all laugh about it. We can together be on the same page and slowly figure it out together, maybe. That's my goal.
And I think when you listen to things like this and you hear somebody say something, you can take something from what this person says and that person says and say, man, that would only take so much time out of my day if I just did this little thing that this person does. Yep. And so we need to be open to listen to what people do, because it might not be the exact thing for you, but there might be something that they say that you could take with you.
This is, I think, the funniest, best area is women. 90% of the time, it's always competition. Secretly, underlying, but it's always some competition amongst women. Not men so much, but with women, it's always competition. This is where women need to, like you said, listen, be open-minded, take advice from each other. Now, what worked for Sally is not, and I keep saying this on probably all my podcasts, what works for Sally doesn't work for Sue. So whatever your best friend's doing to lose weight, get healthy, is not going to always work for you. Don't compare yourself, but take the knowledge, get the wisdom, and then that's where I come in, is like, find a health coach, find somebody who is certified, who is trained, to then narrow it down and make it all make sense. Mm-hmm. So, well, let me see where I was at.
I had another idea.
They're all coming after you. Bing, bing, bing. I like that. So overall, you said relationship, not so good now. When you have addressed those two areas, or let's just, we're going to stay in that two area, the healthy eating and the exercise. When you've addressed that in your past and you have been progressing in it, did you like it? Did you hate it?
So there have been things that I've noticed now that work better. So I'm not good at pre-planning for meals or taking things with me to work. But I did, about 6 months ago, start doing the fasting. Mm-hmm. And I noticed for me, it actually worked.
The intermittent fasting?
So you eat between 11 and 7.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry about exactly what it was I was eating. I mean, obviously you couldn't go crazy. Yeah. But for me and my schedule, that fits so well. And so that's helped. Okay. And so I have lost weight with that. And then I have noticed that just kind of some supplements, and I don't even know if I'm using the right word with that, but like we started doing liquid turmeric.
Uh-huh.
And I had a lot of inflammation.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't think, I was like, I didn't know if this was really going to work or not, but I've seen it. But it has.
Mm-hmm.
It has made a bit that probiotic. So it's not a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But very small. I think magnesium.
Yes. Yes.
They've helped.
And those supplements, those top 3, those are great 3 to bring up. Magnesium is, so there's always a hot topic on the market.
Yeah.
Magnesium is that one right now. And that is another, and I like to address these things as people bring them up, because one thing I think this podcast hopefully will help is, now that we're around so much social media and have access to anything on the internet, where it was like, okay, do wall Pilates, you'll lose weight. Do magnesium, do this, do that, do this. And we just start grabbing and pulling and using it. And sometimes that's okay. Like you said, you found some things that work.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be dangerous, because there might be genetic disorders, there might be medications or other things that's going on in our body, and that can go wrong. Yeah. And then not only you're not getting the effects, so you get discouraged and you give up. That's I think the biggest, worst problem of it all. But you can start having other issues, and you don't even know where it's come from, because you think you're doing something healthy. Yeah. So trial and error, yes, it works. But definitely making sure you always consult with your PCP.
Yeah.
And other doctors. I'm a big believer in second, third opinions. Not ever going to talk bad about the doctors and anything like that. But I have many stories of people that are still getting misled from their own doctors now. And I know there, like anything, there's some great ones out there, and then there's some that's just kind of cruising through. And so I say that only to say, get your second opinion, get your third opinion, because this goes back to what you first said. It starts here.
Yeah.
And if anything messes this up,
yeah.
the whole system shuts down, and we're in that vicious cycle. Stop and start and start. It didn't work, I give up.
Yep.
And so, so just having as much guidance as possible is helpful. But it sounds like you did enjoy it when you were doing those things, and you enjoy trying to figure out, like, it's not a horrible hate relationship with food or with exercise. No. That's good.
No. And actually, when I was working out in my 30s, I was in the best shape of my life, it felt good. Mm-hmm. It did.
Yeah.
And I know now, if I have someone push me to do it again, which is probably what I'm going to have somebody do, I will enjoy it once I start doing it again. But it's what you said, it's like getting started.
Yeah. And you would be a fun person to work with, because you actually like it. Do you know how many people I'd get that hate both of them? They hate exercise, they hate food choices that they have to make. They hate the whole idea of it all. So I would love to work with you if I was still out here doing those things. So you have a plus. And I say that for anybody that actually enjoys learning about it. Go do it now. I can't encourage people enough. It only gets harder. It only gets harder. It only gets harder to make changes. But we can always prevent from getting worse. That's my key to everyone. I said, you might not feel like you're 20 again. You might not feel like you're 30 again, or whatever. But you can get feeling worse real quick. And if nothing else, while you're on this earth, do you want to feel worse?
Yeah.
Or at least stay where you're at? Yeah. Slowly maybe get better, but that's the biggest thing. I just try to keep people mind frame, because some people are like, I'm going to die anyway, or whatever. I'm like, no. Don't you want to be able to walk, talk, function, and not have anybody wipe your butt while you're here? Yeah. And that happens quick.
Yeah.
It happens quick. All right, I think I am on a roll of having the most questions ever asked in an interview already. We're going to number 3. I have lots of them this one's, I think, an interesting one. Do you know, or have you ever looked into your family history of health? So,
because I had grandparents that lived so long, I know a lot about their health. I'm pretty fortunate with that.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good idea of what my ancestors' health was like. And then, I mean, my mother's still alive. I have a grandmother that's still alive.
Wow.
And so I'm going to visit her next weekend because she's just turned 92.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And, you know, I think to myself, you know, and it makes me happy to go see her and
Yeah.
to talk about just being with her.
Take advantage of everything you can
Yeah.
ask. With this subject being brought up, there's some key things I really want people to know is, one, take advantage of the elders in your
Yep.
life. Now that you are in your midlife, if you have elders, take advantage of that, because
Yep.
we're too young to ask questions in our 20s and early 30s to know how it will help us. You want quick, easy ways to prep healthier breakfasts and lunches? Developing healthy habits from 25 to 35 can set you up for a lifetime of wellness and vitality. Join my live nutritional workshop where we'll tackle meal prep together and ensure you're meeting your macronutrient goals for optimal results. You'll receive a grocery list for these meals, so no more procrastinating, ladies. We're going to be productive as a community. Now let's lay the foundation for a balanced, fulfilling life together. So if you can, take advantage of these elders. Go ask them questions. Ask about their, whatever they can remember, about everything, but definitely know about your health. The second thing that has been a big topic, I've done a podcast in the past about this, and it's going to be one of my biggest things I always want to hit on. I think the name of that podcast was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a perfect name. But it was talking about where so many people I've worked with, after talking with them, getting to know them, they think that a lot of their conditions are genetics. And I say, is it genetics or is it family habits that's been passed down?
Yeah.
And that is such, I think in this world, especially in this country, this culture, American culture, we really don't know. A lot of us don't know the difference. We think type 2 diabetes is genetically passed down. We think that a bad right bum knee is genetically passed down. I had some very interesting conversation with some woman that thought plantar fasciitis in her feet for having flat feet was there's just so many things. So the education we can learn is from our elders.
Well, the number one thing to remember, and this probably comes from what I do and my job and working with people, and the number one thing is you determine your destination.
You do.
You do. It doesn't matter.
The future is yours
It
to
is.
create.
You can use it as an excuse.
Yes.
And yes, some of us come from bad places. Some of
Yes.
us have been dealt bad cards at times. But in reality, we all have the choice to change our path. Mm-hmm. You can use it as an excuse and you can blame it. Or you can, in my case, I tell people all the time, there were some things that happened, but what I decided was, you aren't going to beat me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're not. You're not going to beat me.
Confidence
here.
here.
But you have to find something within yourself that's like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to be better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Or watch me. You know, find whatever it is that fuels you, but you can't come in here and say it's someone else's fault. It's not. It will never be somebody else's fault.
That's the power. You gave the power right there. Mm-hmm. That is the power behind every excuse, is what you said. If someone can write that on the wall, write those keynotes you just said, that is going to get you through that every day when you think twice and think, I can't, I don't feel like it, I don't want to. And yes, whether we're learning from our history of our everybody needs to know where they come from. Mm-hmm. If you have the opportunity, some of us do not, unfortunately. But find that out, because you need to change the generation. And whether it's miseducation, because you could keep telling the next generation the same thing, or one, change it, and two, educate, teach them.
Because we're living in a time where this generation's told it's not your fault.
I know. I didn't even think to bring that up. That's a topic
we at our age
on.
Need to be telling young ladies, you get to choose. Yeah. You get to choose. Mm. It might not be, you may not have been placed where you're at on your own accord, but you can get out of it. Mm-hmm. You have to. Mm-hmm. You can't use it as an excuse. That
is a wonderful topic I haven't brought up, and I love that. we need to let our younger generation of women know that, because what you said, we're doing the other. We're doing the other. And is it safe to say what you do for a living?
Oh,
do you
yeah.
mind?
No, 100%.
Okay.
I'm a principal at a high school, very large high school.
Very large principal high school. You're around the youth. You're around these girls that are about to go out in the world, and that are being told or not being told anything, or being told it's okay or whatever. So they need to hear this.
They do.
Okay. So, last question here. I like to pick what draws to that person for me. So, I like this one. Do you accept the age you are, or are you always comparing yourself to that younger age, that younger time?
Where I'm at right now, I accept it. But I would say 12 months ago, I did not.
What was the change?
I'm not real sure.
So that's something you're still figuring out.
I'm not real sure, but I will say that in the past year, and whether we tell ages or not, I don't really care. I turned 50 last year. I turned 51 4 days ago.
Okay. Oh,
and
happy
your
birthday!
mom, yeah.
Dang, I meant to say that to you on this thing. I'm sorry. Happy birthday.
But I actually embrace this, because I think we're talking about my 40s, where I gotta get my career. I finished I got that. I had kids growing up. And things. But now it's I'm okay with where I'm at, and in all areas. And now it's okay, yeah, maybe I am got to get about 25, 30 pounds off. But I'm okay with me.
Yeah.
And I can now maybe give time to work towards that.
Yeah.
But I would say a year ago I wasn't, and I'm not real sure. I'm not real sure what happened.
Well, the cool thing is, it's happening.
Yeah.
And I guess we hope and all pray that we get to that point where we're there.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't know why we're there. Maybe it's just we've been through enough, and it just finally just said, enough is enough. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And you, like you said, the thing I think that probably I would say for any person is, you sounds like you always are setting goals. That keeps you alive. That keeps you young. That keeps you, and that is, and from what you do, I would say you have to do that. That's a part of your character. That's part of your career. But the fact that you are coming to that place now, and sometimes if we can maybe, I guess the point of all this is me saying is, if we can get to that place earlier, maybe we could start figuring out how to balance it all better. But we're so hung up in one area. For a lot of us, it's vanity or whatever. And we're hung up in that so long that we're not really seeing the beauty and enjoying when we do the things we need to do, when we go exercise. We actually enjoy it now because we're happy with where we're at. So then it just naturally starts making us healthier. Because I have so many clients, oh my God, I have beautiful women that's been, they look amazing, whatever, but they're never happy. They're keep going. And guess what? Even though they're physically doing all the things right, they're having all these other health issues because they are not at that place. They can't just be, so they can't even focus on their mental. They can't focus because they're so hung up in this area. But no matter where you are, you're 51, right? That's still early to say, I am happy now. I know women that are in their 60s and 70s still not there. But you're happy. So that means it looks like you might have a bright future of getting that circle well polished and rounded now for the next, moving forward. And that's pretty amazing. People go into their, their retirement years in horrible health because they never got that. They never got that circle fulfilled in the way they need to.
You were talking earlier about if we could get to a mindset earlier. And I have a friend that wrote this book, and what he was talking about was he was actually in the locker room of when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And he and his friend kept talking about, well, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? While they're in the locker room, we got to get to this party. We got to get to this. And they ended up leaving the locker room of the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. And he said, he looked back on that moment, and there were 2 words that came to him. And I think about it all the time now, and it was be present.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't matter. And like you were talking about, be with your elders, be with people. How many times when we were younger did we sit at an event, at a Christmas, at a holiday, at a Thanksgiving, and we were like, oh, I got to get out of here, or I got to go do something. Or when our kids are small, oh, if they can just stop breastfeeding, or if I can get them to the point, stop. Be present.
That would be, if I like to be, what's the word, transparent.
Yeah.
As a health coach, as a trainer, all the things, I always tell my clients what I don't ever, I'm not over here walking around like I'm like, I have health problems. I have this, I have that. Oh man, it's an everyday job for me just as well. And so my top area that I would definitely say trying to work on is that being present, which with being present, that usually can reduce that anxiety, that stress, that would be my weak areas. And so that is something I don't think we can ever hear enough of. So,
and I need to tell myself, just get up and start doing 5 minutes of exercise. Just get up and start doing 10 minutes. Like sitting here talking to you, that's what I've started telling myself is, what am I going to take from this? What am I going to do? And I need, and I know like the exercise is where I'm failing. And so how am I going to get to where, and I have a huge building. I need to start saying every time that bell rings, I need to get up and I need to go walk for 5 to 10 minutes. Because look, I'm seeing people, I'm talking to people, I'm being present, but it's also giving me something that I need that I haven't been doing for a long time. So that's what you've given me today.
Well, I cannot stop. I cannot stop with that answer because I have to add to that, because with what I do for a living, and in my career, I've grown, I've learned. I would have said this 10 years ago to my client, but what I have learned, and I have to leave you with this so that you can go on with that idea and do it. Working for Midlife Health, I have learned through working with so many women, not from any books I've read.
Yeah.
This is the best thing I've learned to help women. I used to have women in this stage, and I was like, oh, we'll just go harder, we'll do it. No, doesn't work. So if I could give you any knowledge today, you just did it. I have learned for women midlife, with our hormones, with our changes, whether we've been through menopause or not, our body is so finicky right now. You will get more out of doing something 5 minutes every day compared to you going and busting your butt in a boot camp in a gym 2 or 3 days a week, starving yourself. You create that habit. 5 minutes, y'all. 5 minutes. I'm like, literally press start on your timer. When that's off, you're done. It doesn't matter what happens in the first week or two.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you dedicated those 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes will turn into more. Those 5 minutes, you are now creating the habit that you created when you first started brushing your teeth. It will become something that you don't feel good if you haven't done. That 5 minutes will grow into so much more. But your body just needs consistency over intensity. That is the key for this age. For this, that is the thing. I cannot stress enough to people. And so now my goals I set with my clients is consistency over intensity. A lot of them are like, oh, I'll go kick my butt, I'll go pay all this money. No, start by your own motivation, your inner motivation, your daily habit, 5 to 10 minutes. The only part you got to do is you try to keep it in the same place. And talking about books, there's an awesome book about creating tiny habits by a professor. Anyway, he has always put, if you're trying to create a new habit, you put it, he might have said before or after. I always think it's one or the other. You can do either or. Before, I think, an existing one.
Okay.
If every morning you brush your teeth at 7, then 5 minutes before you get ready to brush your teeth, you're going to give yourself 5 minutes of some sort of exercise. Then you will, because you know you're not going to skip brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
But you can't brush your teeth till you do that.
Yeah. I like it.
So
5 minutes.
And consistency over intensity. Create that and you will blossom into a lot more full-figured, healthier.
New goal.
Yes.
New goal.
So I really, truly appreciate you coming on. It means a lot to me. to have people come out of their time to do this with me and start this project with me. I didn't mention this, but you are a mother of 3.
Yeah.
I would love maybe in the
And
future.
a grandma.
And a grandma. And something we didn't bring up, but I want to bring up in a new series is women having children at our
Later.
35 plus years.
Yeah.
We're both in that club. I think it's a very important topic to talk about, but this woman has done it all. And thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
And got zucchinis, kale, and tomatoes to leave on your way out. in the fall garden that's dying.
I love it.
All right. See y'all next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.